Do you have a desire to build wealth? Of course you do. What if I told you that the old saying, you can't beat the market, is complete BS? I don't just show you where, but how to be a contrarian investor and hit your investing goals out of the park.
So, what's the number one thing that I look to when I am looking at a new company to invest or speculate in? Is it the commodity itself? It's a good idea. Is it the timing? Is it the price? Is it the region? Or is it the team? Now, I just heard an interview with a very great, experienced, high return individual in the mining space, and they were adamant to say it's all about the project. I disagree. I'm going to go with team and not project. And let me tell you why I think most people are sleeping on this one company that I'm going to get to right now, and how this team is very high caliber and you should at the very least have it on your watch list, and why the team behind it should be one of your main reasons to get in, possibly now before they hit something. Now, why is it that teams are so important within this industry specifically? I could argue that the team is really the most important thing in any endeavor, in any industry, but I'm not going to make that argument. Let's talk about junior mining. In junior mining, you have a difficult science of geology. And because it's so out of reach to the average person to understand and even guess the quality of most projects, you have a very distinct two groups of people running companies. Trust me, I'm behind the scenes on a lot of these. So there is one group of people that are only in it for a check. They're only in it to extract something from the company, from the shareholders, and not about creating value for shareholders themselves, no skin in the game, yada, yada, yada. They don't want to find anything. Okay. They want to prolong the story as long as possible so that they can keep golfing, basically. Those guys will never find anything. Forget about them. The purpose to their work is not finding anything. Now, you have a second group of people who actually give a crap. Okay. That's the technical term. They actually want to advance their companies. They want to find a new deposit. They want to make something work. Now, within that group, you have to separate further, because wanting something doesn't mean you're going to get it. What you also have to look forward to is, are they going to be able to find what they're looking for? And with this particular company that I think most of you are sleeping on, some of the, I guess, cornerstone shareholders and founders of this company have a track record that is to die for. Okay. This is like Hall of Famer level of shareholder and advisors and things like that. And I think it's the right timing for them right now. Within junior mining, for finding economic deposits, you have to go to the Pareto principle of going for the top 20% and then going further, the top 20% of the top 20%, especially when we're talking about this one thing, which is uranium in the Athabasca Basin. Don't get me wrong. There are places that you can go to in the US, in Niger, in Namibia, and you could trip over uranium. In the Athabasca Basin, you really have to know what you're doing in order to find anything. So when you find somebody that has found something in that area, they deserve your attention at the very minimum. Yes, that is a bold claim. But let's take a look at this company that was presented to me almost a year ago. I completely set it aside because I knew that the price wasn't right. And then I waited and I waited and I waited for the price to come to me. And now I am finally in it. Let's take a look. All right, so this is Stallion Uranium, stock symbol stud. I know, too many men in the same room. I get it. I think it's funny. And The reason why I like them so much and why I'm betting on this team with my own cash is this slide right here. Slides like this, whenever there's a company, it doesn't matter if it's uranium, if it's gold, if it's whatever. If I'm presented with an opportunity with such names, I have to take a second look, because the people who are most likely to make a discovery are the people who've already made a discovery in this region. They understand it like nobody else. So some of the team and shareholders, founding shareholders of this company, were the guys who, just low key staked the land and discovered the Rough Rider deposit. If you've been in uranium long enough, you know how big of a deal this is. Stephen Stanley. Just read this. You can read English, right? If you can sell a deposit for 650 million bucks in 2012 in the depths of the worst bear market we've ever seen for uranium. This is after Fukushima. Then there's value here. Also, Q shareholders of NextGen, and this is very important. I'm even gonna bring this over to you. There are a lot of people who claim to have been a part of the NextGen team. I get it. I would have done the same. I'd be like left and right building all these companies based on that track record. However, there's a very big difference between being the person that makes the coffee and being the guy that has actually chosen the targets that have discovered error. You catching my drift? There's a big difference in those claims. And I have talked to some of the people behind the scenes who set up NextGen and have confirmed to me that, this is more about the latter, more about the actual geologists that have found the deposits and not just the people making coffee, which is very, very important to note. So whenever you see big claims like that, remember this. Okay, so also Atha Energy, which I guess you could say is related to NextGen. And they still have, a really cool deal with Atha. So that's very important. They have just recently positioned themselves within the eastern and also the north of the Athabasca Basin. And, some of the projects here on the eastern border have been negotiated with a third-party company that we're going to take a look at briefly. And this is what they're targeting. So you have different styles of mineralization, and not even styles, they're different depths, and they're in different locations and they present different characteristics. So they're showing here where they're looking and what this is most likely to be similar to. Now, they are currently drilling at a project that is 3 kilometers away from Shea Creek. 3 kilometers away in Athabasca Basin terms is like next door. Geologically speaking, it is, pretty much the same project. And now, what is Shea Creek and does it matter? Well, it's owned by UEC and Orano currently. And this is what they've been able to find there. 67.5 million pounds of 1.49% U3O8. Not bad at all. Also 28 million pounds of 1.02% U3O8. This is indicated and this is inferred. So obviously, it needs a little bit more work in order for us to gain more certainty that, this is what is actually there. But this is several million pounds of extreme high grade. I get it. This is not 50%. But 1% uranium is, I think, roughly in today's price is probably around, I want to say 30 grams per ton gold. So if you're coming from investing in gold, 30 grams per ton gold is pretty stinking high grade. I can't think of one mine in the world that produces that much. The highest grades that I can think of that are being mined right now are probably in Colombia for I don't know, 15, 11 grams per ton. Like this is off the charts regardless. So drilling is ongoing at this project. It's actually down here, the coffer project, and it's the Appaloosa target that they're going for, right? That's the drill program that they've identified through geophysics. Now, a lot of the people are going to say, well, the thing about Styling is that they are the largest landholder in the Athabasca Basin, and that's what makes them interesting. I don't think so. I think that could be a distraction. In my investor point of view, if you have way too much land in a place where the characteristics of the deposit is to be a fairly small footprint that goes really deep, then maybe having a lot of land is the opposite. Maybe it's actually not great that you have too much land because you have to really figure out where in the world to drill. It's not cheap to drill in the Athabasca Basin. I wish it were. It's not. It's complicated. It snows. It's, you know, a lot of the places you have to helicopter yourself in and out, and it's not easy. So the most important thing that I found is what are the steps that the team has taken in order to actually get to the bottom of where to drill. And that's been really, really satisfactory in my particular point of view. The team has not just, gotten the band back together and raised money and then went out like crazy to drill just for the sake of news flow. Much to the contrary, they have shown a lot of restraint in doing a lot of geophysics, and I mean a lot of geophysics, in order to ascertain where to drill exactly. And now they're drilling it. And so you want the team to explain to you, why are you doing this right now? What kind of information can you tell me? Why are you drilling a hole here, there, and there? And they have got to this point now, and that's why they're drilling right now, because now they have the information of where best to drill. And that's also why you have seen news such as this. Let me show this to you. First of all, they're really newsy. Okay, that's a technical term in marketing. They come out with news quite frequently, which is awesome for anybody holding the stock, because there's always something to talk about, and it means that the price will move on the stuff that they're putting out. So they have announced here that they have done airborne geophysical survey, but that also that they have agreed to sell non-core uranium projects. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, we have a lot of land. However, we're going to do a deal with a non-core project, get a tiny bit of money in the till, hold an NSR position here, royalty position here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, geophysical survey the heck out of the really interesting projects. And we're going to then decide, based on that technical information, what other land we should be grabbing, which is this piece of news right here. So Styling Uranium announces additional uranium property staking. Can you imagine? They're the largest landholder in the Athabasca, and they're staking. I know. Why are they staking? Because they have actually found geophysics that, when overlaid, and this is important, geophysics is complicated. It's not an exact science, but once you understand what you're looking for, it's really, really, really valuable. Now, they have been looking at all the different projects that they have, picking the very best ones, and soon enough, they found really interesting signatures on those maps that told them there's something to this here that you don't own yet. So they went out there and they just basically staked the land. That's what I like to see in a company that owns a lot of land, for them to cycle through all their projects and bring the best to the top, and then only drill the very best targets. That is what you would like to see as well. Now, another thing that I really like about this company, because of who they are and the team behind it, you can also see that these guys don't really struggle to raise money when necessary. I couldn't tell you how important this is. There are many companies out there with, really good potential, but they just can't raise money when the market is kind of going sideways and weird, like it's going right now. And the fact that these guys have been able to, get the appropriate amount of money in order to drill this is nothing to ignore for sure. You do not want to be investing your money in a company where like you're the last guy in and they can't raise any more money. Something else that I really like is the pricing. Okay, I told you right now, I heard about this company a long time ago. I'm like, this is interesting. The team is heavy hitter, and this is something that should be on my radar. And then I looked at the price and I knew it. I just knew it, like it's not the right timing for me to get bottom of the barrel prices and for me to just basically increase my chances at a win. Now, that has completely changed. The price has really come down. And I think that we're finally at a point where we can say, this is much better. This is a much better entry. Let's take a look at this. Stallion Uranium Corp now, was trading as high as 50, 60. Huh. So they were trading as high as 60 and, like mid 50s here. This was, just about a year ago. So this is when I heard about them. Okay. The chart went way up and people were really excited. And I'm like, no, I'm going to hold back. I'm going to wait a little bit. And now we're sitting here at only just under $17 billion market cap. Why do I think that this is worthy of your attention? First of all, I have been a part of, companies that have found really great stuff in the Athabasca Basin, just from a shareholder standpoint. And I can tell you the issue that I personally have is once they fly so quickly that unless you are ready with your finger on the button the day that really high release, that high grade release comes out, you'll be chasing the price. And I don't know about you, but I am really bad at chasing price. I can think of one company so far where I chased the price and it worked out. But this particular company was a little bit different because they have a deposit. They're just improving on it. It's not a brand new discovery. When you're talking about Athabasca Basin, high grade, company that's overlooked, underowned, the torque that it has once the news release comes out, it's you can't even fathom it. You won't even look at the market cap. That's how crazy it gets. So my point of view is if you're going to play the Athabasca Basin, and you should, especially when times are iffy, because discoveries are really the only thing that move when times are iffy, then I would take a look at Stallion Uranium and I would see if it suits, your profile, maybe get a tiny little bit of a position right now, just in case they find something and you don't feel completely left out, because that FOMO feeling and the chasing the high prices means that you may be aware of the company and you may even follow it, and you still may not be able to get in at a good price. I don't know if you've noticed this, but whenever news comes out of a new discovery, I'm never the first person to see it. And that's my day job. Okay. I report on news every single day in the mining world. And somehow everybody seems to get in on, the best discoveries before me. So I understand that I need to build my portfolio, spread my bets, and make sure that a sliver of my portfolio is positioned in some companies, not one. Don't sell the farm and go put, all of your money in a pre-discovery Athabasca play. That's insane. And then make sure that you have a little bit of exposure to a number of them. I'd say 3 minimum. And then you can sleep at night and you can follow the stories. And then if they do find something of value, guess what? You're already in. Yes, you can increase your position, but you don't have to chase the price like a madman or a madwoman. It's just an idea. Okay. It's just a basic junior mining portfolio building thesis. So if you'd like to know more about the Athabasca Basin, how it's really, really exciting and how you shouldn't overlook it at times like this, then check this out.